Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Connor. I'm the Government Affairs Chair for the North San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, and it's an honor to welcome you here today to our 8th annual Mayor's Vision for San Antonio, featuring our own beloved Mayor, Ivy Taylor. We hosted Mayor Taylor for her very first mayoral address after winning the runoff election. In the year prior, we were the first to host Mayor Taylor after being appointed to fulfill Julian Castro's unexpired term. And we're honored to have her with us here today.
In 2016, the North Chamber has been on a mission to re-engage our membership and the community about what we do to impact businesses and the quality of life for our families in the city on a daily basis. You may have noticed when you came in some of those did you know slides that we've been putting out when you walked in, and that's been part of our campaign this year to get the word out. You may have come across some of our social media posts with some of the folks in this room, business owners, community leaders, about how the North Chamber impacts your business and your family, whether it's large or small. We're an advocate for good public policy at the state and local level. We have fought for issues at the state level, such as tuition revenue bonds and highway funding in the last session, and we're already preparing for the 2017 legislative session, and we will be there in force on your behalf. We've been involved in the improvement of our local transportation and water infrastructure. We dedicate a large part of our programming to preparing future leaders through programs like Leadership Lab and providing scholarships and discounted members to engage students at the earliest point possible. Did you know, since its inception in 1999, Leadership Lab has graduated over 900 students representing over 200 companies across San Antonio. This year's class includes 84 students representing 52 companies across our city, and those are the future leaders of San Antonio. We have a small business council that focuses on monthly networking and educational opportunities for business owners and leaders of all size businesses, as well as we're going to recognize some outstanding business leaders at our Small Business Leader Awards coming up on October 5th. If you're not planning to be there, we encourage you to do that. The North Chamber is your voice, and we need you to stay involved. So I invite you to find a place to serve with us in our mission to make San Antonio a great place for our businesses and a great place for our families to grow.
Ivy Taylor was elected mayor of San Antonio on June 13th, 2015. Prior to that, she was appointed to the office of mayor in July 2014 to fulfill Julian Castro's unexpired term. She had served as District 2 City Council representative for a total of 5 years, beginning with her election in June of 2009. Mayor Taylor began her career working for the City of San Antonio in the Housing, Community Development Department and the Neighborhood Action Department. While at the city, she worked with a variety of neighborhood associations, developers, and nonprofit organizations in order to facilitate inner-city redevelopment. After 6 years, she left employment with the City of San Antonio to become Vice President at Merced Housing Texas. At Merced, she worked to create and implement programs to improve family stability for apartment community residents. For 6 years, Mayor Taylor also lectured at UTSA in the Public Administration Department. During her tenure on the City Council and as mayor, she's remained focused on balanced growth throughout our city and targeted investment in areas where opportunities have been limited. She led the effort to bring over $50 million in federal funding for revitalization of San Antonio's east side. As mayor, she and City Council worked with San Antonio Water System to achieve unanimous approval for the Vista Ridge Water Supply Project, which helps ensure water supply for our growing city. Mayor Taylor currently serves on the board for Healthy Futures of Texas and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of South Texas. She served on the city's Planning Commission and as a commissioner for the city's Urban Renewal Agency. Mayor Taylor completed the Leadership San Antonio class sponsored by the Greater San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, and in 2004 was acknowledged by the San Antonio Business Journal as a rising star in their 40 under 40 class. Mayor Taylor obtained a master's degree in city and regional planning from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 1998. In 1992, she received her bachelor's degree from Yale University. Mayor Taylor is a devoted wife and mother, and we're very proud to have her as mayor of our city. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Taylor to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Please continue to enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much to the board and leadership of the North San Antonio Chamber for continuing to provide this opportunity to outline my vision for the city that we all love. So to Christina Alderete, Dwayne Wilson, and Gary, the incoming board chair, all the board staff and volunteers, this is certainly a significant effort, and I appreciate this opportunity to gather this illustrious group. Well, Kenny Wilson tried to give me some encouraging words a few moments ago and said, oh, you need to start out with a couple of good jokes and then it'll all go well from there. But, you know, I'm not really funny like Kenny is. I think I'm funnier maybe when there's just 2 or 3 in the crowd, but I guess the joke is that I went for a potty break and got stopped by the media, and I was standing outside and I heard them introducing me. So I said, I think I need to go inside. So here we are. Well, you all have heard me kind of talk about that vision for San Antonio, and I will, at the risk of being redundant, I'm going to keep at that message. The crux of that vision is that San Antonio is a globally competitive city where everyone has the opportunity to prosper. And in keeping with that, it's also true that San Antonio truly is a city at work, and never more so than right now. Looking out into this room, I see so many San Antonians who are working hard on key projects, and I want to tell you about some of them. Now, because of the glare, I may not be able to exactly eyeball them. I haven't seen her yet, but I'm told that Susan Wright is here, and she has personally devoted hundreds of hours to creating, reviewing, and revising the SA Tomorrow plans as a member of the Comprehensive Plan Committee and several of the work groups as well. And in the VIP room, I had a chance to meet Mary Lagladier, a U.S. history teacher at Warren High School, who earlier this month was named Texas History Teacher of the Year for 2016. And yes. And she is an excellent example of the educational opportunities that are available right here in San Antonio. Scott Parrish, the Chief Operating Officer for Garney Construction Company, who's helping to bring the Vista Ridge Pipeline from vision to reality, on time and on budget. And SWBC, yes, that's worth a round of applause too. SWBC just announced it's expanding its office space right here in the northwest side of town, and I'm sure you all know they've been in business for 40 years, and over the last 2 years have expanded their workforce by more than 1,300 people. So if those folks I noted are here, or representatives from those companies, why don't you stand and be recognized for everything that you've accomplished? Let us give you some love. Also happening here on the north side, a total of 15 companies have relocated or expanded in the past couple of years, creating approximately 5,400 jobs. Those include 2 major headquarter projects for which the City of San Antonio was able to provide incentives: Security Service Federal Credit Union and Cytocentrics, Inc. Homegrown companies like Security Service Federal Credit Union are the reason we focus so much attention on our business retention and expansion program, which keeps the lines of communication open with existing employers in San Antonio and has successfully worked to retain and expand jobs and investment. Security Services' new campus will be located near UTSA and is expected to create and retain 947 jobs here. This project demonstrates San Antonio's commitment to ensuring our local companies remain here and continue to provide jobs and opportunities for our residents while enriching our business climate. Pursuing another economic development strategy, Cytocentrics, Inc. was a huge win in foreign direct investment for our city. The company relocated its headquarters from Rostock, Germany to San Antonio and is expected to create a minimum of 300 new full-time high-wage positions that will pay no less than $50,000 with the average annual salary at around $70,000. The Cytocentrics project is also indicative of our efforts to focus on the biomedical industry, which currently employs an estimated 1 in 6 San Antonians and generates an estimated annual economic impact of more than $30 billion. That's a staggering number. The company entered our city as a great corporate citizen, donating one of their key technologies, the CytoPatch machine, to the Center for Innovative Drug Discovery, which is a joint research venture between UTSA and the UT Health Science Center. Now that's truly being a team player. So congratulations to everyone who also worked on those projects. And while I'm talking about team players, thank you so much to another critical member of our team who's here today, County Judge Nelson Wolf. Bexar County is such an important partner for the city of San Antonio, and Judge, I have enjoyed working with you and getting to know you. Thank you. Now, last year when I was here for this event, I outlined a few priorities that I wanted to address, things that we as a community need to accomplish. So let me take a few minutes to provide you a little bit of a report card, let you know what's been going on in the last year, what's occurred since then. It has been a very busy year. Now, first and foremost, as I'm sure you know, negotiations with our San Antonio Police Officers Association were brought to a successful conclusion last week. Through a 6-day voting process, 70% of union members voted to accept the negotiated settlement that we developed. Now it's City Council's turn to step up to the plate and vote on the settlement, which we'll be doing on September 1st. Resolving the stalled union negotiations has been one of my top priorities, and through a series of personal meetings with Union President Mike Kelly and his team this spring, we were able to get unstuck and find middle ground on critical wage and benefit issues. I'd like to recognize Councilman Ray Lopez, Chris Medina, and Councilwoman Shirley Gonzalez for their role behind the scenes in restarting the negotiations. And I'd also like to thank Councilman Alan Warwick for his strong support in this area as well. Now, we weren't able to accomplish everything we wanted in the contract, but given that almost 1/3 of police officers voted against the agreement, I suspect they'd say the same thing, which is why they call it compromise, I think. And so in the days ahead, leading up to City Council vote on the contract on September 1st, you will definitely hear more talk about what wasn't included in the agreement. Specifically, there are concerns about transparency, accountability, and disciplinary procedures at our SAPD. Believe me when I tell you that I share in those concerns and know how critical they are for our community. However, as I'm sure you all have figured out, after 2 years of my leadership at City Hall, I'm not really a politician. So while others play politics with an extremely serious issue like police-community relations, I've chosen instead to focus on what we actually can accomplish together. Moving past our contentious negotiations creates the space for constructive dialogue on accountability and transparency. And so look to hear more from me soon on the specifics of how we'll move forward there. And I'm looking forward to working in partnership with Councilwoman Villagran on that as she leads our Council Public Safety Committee. Given our identity as Military City USA, I can confidently say that in San Antonio, we give a little extra love to our veterans. So I was thrilled when I was able to announce a few months back that working in collaboration with a variety of community agencies, we had effectively ended veteran homelessness in San Antonio. And in the years to come, that tight coalition that developed will work to ensure that every veteran in San Antonio has a roof over their heads. And I'd like to thank all the folks from the various nonprofits and Haven for Hope who assisted us with that. Another pressing issue from last summer that we've succeeded in addressing is fair and reasonable TNC regulations. We not only welcome Uber and Lyft back to San Antonio, but we've attracted additional innovative transportation services, all while other cities are struggling with voter referenda and lawsuits. If I could only tell you how many people said to me during that contentious campaign, why can't we just do what Austin does? Well, what do you think about that now? And so in relation to the TNCs, I have to thank Councilwoman Villagran for her leadership on the City Council's Public Safety Committee and Councilman Roberto Trevino for his leading role in crafting an innovative model for other communities to follow. Hopefully some of our other Texas cities will take a clue from us. Another positive headline with years of hard work behind it, with the leadership of our congressional delegation, we finally secured $135 million in federal funding for a brand new federal courthouse facility to be located in our downtown. That was a heavy lift. We all owe a debt of gratitude to Congressman Cuellar and to our senator from Texas, John Cornyn, as well as private citizens like Dennis Nixon, who brought national attention to this issue. Our downtown landscape will also be changing even more with the start of construction on the Western Urban Frost P3 project. I was very impressed with the beautiful renderings I've seen of that glass tower that were recently released, and I look forward to seeing it emerge from the ground. And this past year also saw the opening of Yanaguana Gardens at Hemisphere, which has quickly become the most popular park in San Antonio with almost 500,000 visitors since last October. Our new and improved Pearsall Park also opened last year, and congratulations to Councilman Saldana on that great new addition to our community. We'll be seeing other positive changes in our city as a result of the UNESCO designation of our very own Spanish colonial missions as a World Heritage Site, the first in Texas. And through the renovation and expansion of the Alamo, a site we love not just in Texas, but around the world. Again, a great team is at work there, from the General Land Office to our Texas legislature to City Hall to the planners and archaeologists on the site. And Senator Jose Menendez did some of the heavy lifting in funding appropriation last session in relation to the Alamo, and so I would like to give him special kudos, though I don't think he's present here today. To support all these investments that will attract more visitors than ever to our city, we're completing the transition from a public convention visitors bureau to a public-private not-for-profit called Visit San Antonio. Years in the making, this change will allow us to attract more funding to promote and sustain our visitor industry, making us a more competitive destination. And then looking forward to our city's bright future. Last week, we adopted the 3 SA Tomorrow plans, our multimodal transportation plan, sustainability plan, and comprehensive plan. After almost 2 years of work, thousands of hours of volunteer time, and literally hundreds of meetings. Specific acknowledgments on this effort are well deserved. I appointed 3 tri-chairs to lead the SA Tomorrow planning effort. So thank you to Daryl Bird. I see Daryl over here on this side. Thank you to Dr. Afamia Al-Nakat and Councilman Ron Nierenberg for your leadership in that effort. And I know that many of you here in this room also participated in one form or another, either by serving on the steering committee, an advisory group, a plan element working group, or by encouraging your staff to do so. And so thank you. You are helping to create the city that we all began envisioning during the SA 2020 process. The implementation phase of the plan is what's critical. And so toward that end, I am working on outlining the specific strategy necessary that allows us to undertake the plan's priorities in 5-year segments. Another accomplishment already in the implementation phase is the extension of sales tax dollars to protect aquifer recharge features in already developed areas. With the overwhelming support of the taxpayers and the help of the San Antonio River Authority, we've created a new program to invest aquifer protection funds right here in our city limits. At the same time, we've continued to use public dollars, as we have in the past, to purchase 204 acres of parkland at Stubing Ranch that will also protect sensitive recharge features. And so I want to acknowledge the leadership that Councilman Joe Cryer showed in creating this wonderful new park and in protecting our water supply. Joe has also shown real leadership in working with the military to ensure they have the resources they need to secure their future in San Antonio and in chairing our Economic and Human Development City Council Committee. And we'll be relying on Joe's skills as we head into what may be a challenging legislative session in Austin, as he also heads up our City Council's Intergovernmental Relations Committee. As I noted earlier, the City of San Antonio organization does not work alone on many of the policy initiatives that are underway or that I may have mentioned. Since last summer, leadership appointments were made at 2 organizations that are key to our community's economic development efforts. Paula Gold Williams has done an excellent job at the helm of CPS Energy for the past year, and earlier this month, we made that official by appointing her as CEO. And Jenna Saucedo has been in place at the Economic Development Foundation for about a month, and she's already bringing a fresh new perspective and building a bridge to the next generation of investors and business people. And our new SA Works Director, Romanita Mata Barrera, is aligning our workforce development efforts with the support of community leaders like Charles Butt, Kate Rogers, and Peter John Holt. SA Works is an industry-led effort to meet San Antonio's workforce development needs. As I've mentioned, we've had thousands of new jobs relocate or expand here, and many of them are in in-demand industries like information technology, financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, design, construction, and logistics. But we don't necessarily have the workforce ready with the skills to fill those jobs. And so SA Works is identifying those workforce gaps, developing the talent pipeline, and diversifying our workforce. The program will include everything from internships for students in high school and college to continuing education for those who are unemployed or underemployed. The success of this effort is truly one of my top priorities. So, how have we accomplished all these things and so many other important goals across the city? Issues that have been lingering for many years, like negotiating union contracts, securing funding for federal courthouse, and reforming our workforce system. Well, we did it by playing together as a team. Some of you may remember 2 years ago that the North Chamber Mayor's Vision was the first major speech that I made as mayor of San Antonio. In that speech, I said that I knew that as a community, we can set big goals, engage the community, deliver great results over decades, and make the most of our considerable assets if we work like a team that includes city council members, city staff, other governments, and most importantly, you here in this room. This is a team where we have no superstars. We're all role players. We listen to and respect our team members, and we ask for their respect in turn. We don't succeed by passing the ball to the big guy under the basket and hoping he scores. We have a system and we work it. That's what I said back in 2014. Now I have to make it absolutely clear, when I said those words, I was not encouraging Tim Duncan to retire. But just as we still love our Spurs, we know that progress in our city is not about one person. It's about all of us, about our team. We are a city at work together. So what are the challenges that our team must tackle in order for San Antonio to be a globally competitive city where everyone has the opportunity to prosper and succeed? Well, let me address head-on an issue that is on many people's minds today. The seeming spike in violence throughout our country, particularly the concern that we're moving backward on race relations and urban violence. Now, while I know that folks want to hear a simple answer on how to address this, I've already told you I'm not a politician. So I won't stand here and give you a sound bite that will make you feel good on this issue. There are many things that we must do, including having candid dialogues, increasing access to opportunity for neighborhoods and individuals that have been disconnected, and improving police-community relations in communities that have been at risk. I assure you that we're working on all of those fronts. Another challenge that we as a team face in becoming globally competitive is the Smart City Challenge. How can we use technology to make government more responsive and efficient while making life better for all San Antonians? Smart Cities is one of several items on my tech agenda, which includes supporting the global cybersecurity excellence of UTSA and reinforcing the role of downtown as a tech center and as a smart city sandbox for innovation. For example, SAISD's new high-tech downtown high school, CAS Tech, will be created in full collaboration with our tech community and will develop both entrepreneurs and in-demand workforce for growing industries. We'll meet two big goals: supporting our businesses and providing opportunities for our young people. Prosperity will be one step closer for everyone when we all have access to reliable broadband internet access and no longer face a digital divide. And so to that end, we're currently drafting our first plan to close the digital divide and support local economic development. And we have some key partners like Google Fiber and AT&T that are working with us on that. In order to build the kind of city that supports this bright future, we need to have a strong, focused 2017 bond package. And so 2 years ago when I took office, I really had one top priority, which was to lead that community-driven comprehensive plan process to guide us in creating a better city for San Antonians, even as we anticipate welcoming 1 million new neighbors and San Antonians over the next several decades. And so in May of 2017, voters will consider an $850 million package of capital improvements, and for the first time, we'll have a plan so that we can make more strategic investments. Our plan, SA Tomorrow, offers an integrated approach to development, transportation, and sustainability, supporting San Antonio as a globally competitive city where everyone has a chance to prosper. Now, those traditional bond priorities like streets, sidewalks, economic development, parks, and public safety are aspects of that SA Tomorrow plan that the community has been working on for 18 months or so. In fact, we started more than 6 years ago with SA 2020, establishing a vision for the kind of community our residents wanted and how we wanted San Antonio to look and to function. We've brought that vision forward into a plan that includes 13 centers that offer live, work, play opportunities. Implementing SA Tomorrow is his next step, and that's what we'll be doing with our next city budget for FY 2017 and future budgets, as well as the 2017 bond. This is a historic opportunity that no city council has had before to leverage our investments with those of community partners through implementing an integrated regional plan. And I'd like to commend our outstanding city manager, Cheryl Scully, for the extraordinary management and fiscal stewardship that allows us to make these types of investments. Thank you, Cheryl. And we can all rest easier in relation to the bond, knowing that Eddie Alderete, Carrie Baker, and Darrell Bird are at the helm of our Citizens Bond Committee. I've also appointed a variety of dedicated citizens to lead the various subcommittees. We had our first meeting this past Monday, and I know that everyone in that room is committed to the challenge. These chairs will conduct their work between now and the end of the calendar year and will provide a recommendation to City Council for a bond proposition in the following categories: streets, bridges, and sidewalks, drainage and flood control, parks, recreation, and open space, facilities and improvements, and neighborhood improvements. I especially want to thank Councilman Mike Gallagher for the important work he's doing around developing our first ever neighborhoods improvement bond package, which may include a pilot housing program. Council will take action by February, and then the voters will have their say in May. One more initiative of interest to this group assembled today is that I've convened a task force to work with CPS Energy and SAWS, our municipally owned utilities, to determine how they can better provide service in supporting business development for San Antonio. And so thank you to Norm Dukas and Leo Gomez for agreeing to lead that group. So it looks like I'll have a lot of reporting to do in 2017, when I definitely plan to be back in front of you. With so many ideas and initiatives ongoing, I struggle with knowing how to conclude this speech so it wouldn't just seem like a laundry list of accomplishments and a list of tasks to be done. So what witty story or analogy, I already knew I was going to be lacking in jokes, but what witty story or analogy could I finish with to underscore those themes? So we were struggling with that. I was sitting at my computer at City Hall, and Leela Powell, my policy chief, encouraged me to pick up a book that I have next to my computer entitled Daily Wisdom for the Workplace. She said, go to the selection for August 19th. So when I turned to the page, the selection for today, August 19th, 2016, it had a passage of scripture from Ezra 4:4 that said, "Then the local residents tried to discourage and frighten the people of Judah to keep them from their work." The brief description in that selection was about how many tried to stop the important work of rebuilding a temple. And it encouraged the reader that though opposition may come and that we may feel threatened or discouraged, that we should never give up that work of building. So that's my simple message to you about the task ahead. Yes, building on our city's tremendous history, culture, and heritage to create a globally competitive city where all are connected to prosperity is not easy work. And in the process, things can get ugly, things can get sticky when people on different sides of issues are not hearing each other or working towards solutions. But I continue to believe that we are one San Antonio, and through continuously striving, we will achieve that vision. And so thank you, everyone, for everything you do every single day to help us get there, and know that you have a partner at your City Hall. Thank you.